Make sure that the warmer is off. Make sure that the stove is off twice. Because you've heard prophecies here, like you'll turn the hob off and demons will come and turn it back on and you guys will burn up in the house. The whole house going up in flames because of the interference of spiritual manipulation as the spirit world comes closer to our world. Carelessness is not the right posture for a child of God. So you hear of this kind of mind that is able to go through all this trouble to get one female to a place. That means this man is willing to take the risk of getting seen, even though there were no cameras in that place. I guess where rich people are, they don't film them or anything like that, because how did Diddy get away with all the things that he got away with for so long? Okay. He's willing to take the risk of being seen. He's willing to take the risk that things might not go well, because clearly it goes well for him more often than not. If not, he would have stopped doing it a long time ago. So there's the ornate printed card mailed to the house of a potential victim. There's the trendy upmarket address, okay, that would impress most women, and be sure to have them reporting there for duty, because all the females of America want to be on slay duty nowadays, not knowing that the word slay means kill. Kill is what slay means. And so right there, the dream ended and I was up like a bullet talking to the Lord. I said, Father, no. Lord Jesus, no. What type of thing is that? What type of thing is that? That man wanted to rape me, Lord. And what was that he put into my leg, working so fast and making me slow down? And the Lord answered me instantly. He said that was rape poison. This is where this prophecy is about to go left. So if you're not wearing a seatbelt up to now, put it on, because we're going now off-road. He said that was rape poison. And you see me sitting there. Sometimes God will say something to you. You only have a certain amount of information available in your brain, right? You have a certain amount of information available in your brain. And so you're thinking, oh, maybe he means this. So I said, oh, Lord, you mean rape drug, right? That was rape drug that he put into my system. And the Lord said, no, it was rape poison. It works quickly and will first paralyze you so that you can't do anything until it eventually kills you. It will paralyze you first so that you can't go for help or run. That's why your legs started reacting so quickly once it received the dart. So he was calling the injection. It wasn't like a blow dart. He was calling the injection a dart. Then he says, date rape drugs make you lose consciousness so the person can take advantage of you while you are sedated. In such cases, you are still alive, you're still breathing, but you're so deeply asleep that you can't feel what the man does to you until after. Rape poison will paralyze you to the point that you are still conscious, and they'll start raping you right away while it is active and keeping you in paralysis. Please listen. You will be up. You will be seeing his face, and you will be lying there like a log as your various body parts are heating up, burning. You're in physical agony, and this being of a useless humanity will be taking advantage of you from the moment that he can notice legs are now weak, arms are not working, tongue cannot speak, jaw is now locked. They'll drag you wherever, and you won't be asleep like date rape drug. Yah says you will be awake and conscious, going through paralysis as they begin a rape. But he says, because this drug, these types of drugs, rape poison is different from date rape drugs, like the one they call roofies, I think. Because it paralyzes all muscle, it will eventually stop the heart. So it will freeze you, paralyze you, working throat muscles. It's either you will asphyxiate because you can't breathe, or it will eventually stop your heart and you die. And he says, listen to me. This is the Father speaking to all of you who keep coming here and saying nonsense that she gets it from her mind. Yah says, and I want you to know, Celestial, that the men who use this poison will not stop raping the person when they die. They will still sleep with a corpse for about 1 to 2 hours after death, because the body is still warm and the necessary places that they want to access will still be in the same state as when the woman was alive. So they can stay raping a body for about 2 hours or even more after the person has clearly passed away before getting rid of them. Women are facing a great pandemic and crisis of psychopath men that are blending seamlessly into society. These men are using a panel of different traps and bait to catfish women and secure them for extremely malicious harm to their person. It is necessary for women to abstain from casual sexual activity because that is where they are vulnerable and easy to kill and do other forms of grievous bodily harm to, as well as it is necessary for women to read the signs in their relationship early that a man is not a good person. Evil has entered the world. Things like this will become an everyday occurrence. So the duty of care, safety first, is on the one who's most vulnerable to check her environment, to move in pairs, to seek a protector, to avoid any hint of immorality, to stay in places that are thoroughly vetted, and to stay in places that are thoroughly vetted, which will be able to assume a duty of care for her. God has said a mouthful here. The kernel at the core of the mouthful is basically that there are men who are willing to drug you, start raping you when you're alive, and then he says basically, and I'm going to be blunt, when you die, your breasts will still be soft and everything will still work perfectly down below. You can be sodomized while dead because your corpse doesn't stiffen for about 2 to 3 hours. A person will be just exactly like these creepazoid dolls that they're making in Asia, in Japan and Korea, and everyone is ordering because it's so lifelike. Those dolls are dead, but apparently they have very active social lives in the homes of all the sickos who are unable to speak to, court, date, and marry real women. The doll doesn't have a hassle. The doll doesn't want to go out and eat. The doll will never ask for a Birkin. And so these dolls are burgeoning globally in popularity. And it's a whole lie to think that only incels want these dolls. Normal men, corporate bosses, the guys that you are calling 6'5" blue eyes, they want these dolls. They're less hassle than women. This is the depths of depravity that is in the hearts of men today. And God is exposing it here and warning women about something that he calls rape poison. I just spoke of motive. Do you know what's in the mind of a person who doesn't just want to defile a female, but actually doesn't care about the death of the female? Somebody wants sex from you to the point that he's okay if you don't walk away after, because he's just after the experience anyway. He's no different from a lot of the guys who pursue women because they just want to be sexually active with that woman so they can back off and say, yeah, she was a bit of a challenge, but the 3 months was worth it. And you will think, oh, I'm making him wait. I've been listening to the advice on TikTok that says, don't give it too early, 60 days, 90 days, counting days, right? Like you're going for a cancer evaluation, because that's the level of female morality in a lot of people today. And then you finally give it to him and you find out, guess what? It was a bet. Guess what? He just wanted a notch on his belt. Guess what? You're just another scalp on his belt. You're just another experience for him to talk about at golf. You finally get there and you think you've conquered. No, he's conquered you. And now he switches up. The attitude is different. The flow is different. All of a sudden, the phone calls that you thought only call every 4 days. Now you're waiting for that call. It's not coming back. Why? Because he's seen you pray. But now they've scaled it up. It's no longer date, rape, drugs by people that you know. God is now saying that, oh no, there's a headstone in it for you. The unwise female. There's a headstone in it for you. The female who is not protected, not covered, not shielded, not wise. Acknowledge that this is a sin. You will never make your way to step 2, which is then admitting that you are a sinner. As long as a person does not accept and admit and confess with their mouth that they are a sinner, they will never make it to step 3, which is starting to repent of the sin, so that power can come forth to help them fight the sin, so that grace can come forth to heal them of the operation of the sin that is keeping them in prison. A lot of people cannot get out of homosexuality because they have assumed the homosexual identity. They have assumed the transgender identity. You will know it because when you meet them, the first thing they want you to know about them is that they're gay. If they could wear rainbow stripes on their forehead and still go to the investment banking meeting as a boss, as a CEO, as a COO, or just even as one of the accountants, they would do that. The sexuality has consumed them because the ego of the demons behind this stuff, they're huge. These demons have massive egos. They are peacock demons. They love themselves so much. They want to completely erase the identity of Donald, the identity of Tabitha. They want it to only say gay, 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 like a big blinking loud neon sign. That's all they want. They want to take away the humanity, the fact that you have kids, the fact that you love skiing, the fact that you like gumbo, whatever it is. They want to completely obliterate the human being and simply stamp the human being gay. They want to make you a big red target for the vengeance and the wrath of God to strike you. And most people don't think at that level. I need to protect my gayness. I need to defend my gayness. Nobody should talk about LGBTQ. You're lost in the sauce, and the sauce is about to get turned up to incinerator level. God is not happy with these lifestyles of LGBTQ, of trans. He is not. Judgment is coming for these things. I haven't even gotten to the prophecy, but I'm warning you by the Spirit of the Lord. It is the Lord who is bringing forth this greater understanding, because when you stand before him at the end of time, you cannot say that nobody told you. You will not be able to say that you never heard the full breakdown of the natural side, the spiritual side, and that the understanding was given to you, and that a choice and ultimatum was put before you. Many of you, I'm telling you the facts, you cannot win over the homosexual feelings that are attacking you because you refuse to disavow yourself. And yet one of the biggest commandments in the Bible is that if any man will follow me, he must first what? Take up his cross. He must crucify his own flesh and follow the Lord Jesus Christ. You don't want to crucify that gay identity because you feel in your soul that's all you have. And the reason you feel that way is because you sat there reading gay literature, looking at gay porn, kissing a girl or two in college, and then singing, I kissed a girl and I liked it. God was watching you. It's a slippery slope down to the pits of hell. That thing, it is not a step whereby you can take a step and then say, I'm feeling warmth from below, I'm going back up. No. The minute you start trying to climb back up, Satan presses a button and that thing turns into a slide. It is easier to run away from sin than it is to climb up out of that pit where that fire is waiting. That's what God says America is going to start looking at. So if you're starting to see these things, realize that 5 years ago, we weren't even thinking that the grid could go down, and all of a sudden the grid goes down a lot more. People are in their homes, they don't have water, they can't flush the toilet, they're having to put trash bags in the toilet and use it like that. That is not what happens in the so-called first world. That is what God is calling third world tendencies. When you see that creeping up, know that that is happening. Yah also spoke about decline, destruction, insurrection, and emergency powers. Basically, the use of the executive pen. Insurrection in particular, he referred to. Insurrection refers to people no longer obeying the laws as they have been set. Insurrectionists decide not to comply with the laws, but to be rebellious, acting as a law unto themselves. Yah said that there will be renegades in parliament, or renegades basically in Congress, the Senate and the House of Representatives collectively. There will be renegades on the bench, the judges, the judiciary, and of course, he says, the executive will be the biggest renegade of all. The Lord also said that there will be assignation. Assignation is when you have a situation where interest groups of power, okay, they could be calling themselves the secret pen of the feather of freedom, or whatever they're calling themselves. This is when small interest groups begin to get together and say, we don't like that this is happening. We don't like that that is happening. What can we do? And how can we get to do it? Who do we need to shoot? Who do we need to get fired? How can we inspire change from within by pulling on strings that the rest of the electorate, basically the people out there, you and myself, don't know. He said that there will be secret meetings to create and execute plans that have no good for America in them. And also they will be working on conspiracy leading to death. So that is that. I just want to make mention that emergency powers are powers that you basically use in martial law. Emergency powers are the powers that we lived under during the COVID months, or should I say the COVID years, where it's not written in the Constitution anywhere and it's not a law anywhere that people have to have masks. But what you do is you simply create lower laws under such a thing as national health or national security like that. You can make any type of law that you want under the larger umbrella, and then you can simply say it is as good as a law, it is as active as a law, and it will carry the same penalties if you break it as an established law. And then people have to follow it or run afoul of the penalties. That's emergency powers. And once state of emergency has been declared, it suspends the normal law. It suspends your ability to say, I'm going to court because of this and that and I'm unhappy. It suspends a lot of things, including in some cases, in some extreme cases, it suspends civil liberties. You can be picked up and no reason be provided. You can be held indefinitely. You can be, as Governor Hochul so far won in her case, taken away from your home on suspicion that you have something that they don't have to prove that you have that thing. They can take you away and put you in a camp and keep you there indefinitely, also giving you all treatments as they may deem necessary to make you well again. And if you happen to have a reaction to that treatment and die in that camp, well, oh well. Emergency powers. So, I also said that I've seen Americans fighting one another in visions, and it was physical fighting, not verbal fighting. So I saw spiritually that Americans went into physical fighting. Okay, this is physical warring against one another over something that had happened in America. And whatever that thing was, it sent the entire nation into shock, and it provided the necessary instability that was needed for society to break down and for a civil war to occur. Invaders will not enter a strong America. That means that America may have her problems, but she's still holding as a cogent unit, meaning that nothing has happened in this country to the point where people lose their minds and actually decide that they want to pick up arms and fight. Invaders will not enter the nation as she stands now. I'm writing at 2020. I said, no. First will come instability from within the country, and then when America has destabilized herself by fighting a civil war, sudden destruction and attack will come from external forces. Insurrectionists will exist inside the government, attempting to bring it down, and outside the government. This is among the citizens and in the street. People will be working to destroy the nation from inside the halls of power, and then people will be fighting against the government once they come out of alignment and agreement with government and how it operates. Law and order will break down in the United States as things become chaotic. The haves and the have-nots will be sharply separated in society, and no one will buy this American dream, be all you can be storyline anymore. People will question why they don't have access to basic things anymore, especially when they will still be able to see others in society who have so much. But without any sound answers being provided to questions like these, America is going to fall into unrest. Having money will be a problem. Having a job will be a problem.